a new Trump fundraising email makes the insane claim that President Joe Biden tried to SEAL Team 6 Trump in his own home. Now, the email reads, "Breaking from Trump, Biden's DOJ authorized to shoot me." It's just been revealed that Biden's DOJ was authorized to use deadly force for their despicable raid on Mar-a-Lago. You know they're just itching to do the unthinkable. Joe Biden was locked and loaded, ready to take me out, put my family in danger. Yes, Joe Biden, about to go John Wick on you, right? Yeah, okay. Insane. This is straight up from the right-wing fever swamps. And when, of course, speaking about the swamp, you inevitably have to talk about some of the things that live in that swamp, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who had taken credit for Trump's claim by suggesting that she was the one who told him about it. Quote, "I made sure that he knew the Biden DOJ and FBI were planning to assassinate President Trump and gave the green light. Does everyone get it yet? What are Republicans going to do about it? I tried to oust our speaker who funded Biden's DOJ and FBI, but Democrats stopped it." Now look, not only is this laughably untrue, and I'll get into why that's the case, but it's also actually dangerous rhetoric. You're going to have people out there believing that Joe Biden was trying to do a literal hit out on Donald Trump. Oh, I mean, what do you think that's going to do? Like, what do you think that's going to make the heavily armed MAGA guys believe? I mean, seriously. You know what they're going to want? They're going to want to do something about it. In fact, that's what Marjorie Greene was saying. What are Republicans going to do about it? What do you mean? Do about what? Again, this is a call to incitement, clear as day. They're going to want violence. They're going to want revenge. Nearly a third, 28% of all Republicans, this is the newest poll, they strongly agree that Americans may have to resort to violence in order to get their country back. 28% of all Republicans, from a end of March PBS NewsHour NPR Marist poll. So that's enough. Almost a third. Now, like I said, none of this is actually true. Okay, Trump's lawyers picked out some very specific language, which is part of the standard operating procedure by the FBI for any search warrant. Okay, according to Justice Department policy, law enforcement officers are allowed to use force only when no other safe alternatives appear to exist. Okay, they didn't expect to use force on this, and they didn't. The policy further says that deadly force is permitted only when necessary. That is, when the officer has a reasonable belief that the subject of such force poses an imminent danger of death or serious physical injury to the officer or to another person. Every FBI operations order contains a reminder of the FBI deadly force policies. This is according to former Assistant Director of Counterintelligence at the FBI, Frank Figliuzzi. Even for a search warrant, deadly force is always authorized if the required threat presents itself. If the required threat. Now, is Donald Trump saying that he was going to be a threat? Well, now that's different. If he says, well, I would have been the threat. Well, okay, but no, you weren't, though. Okay. Look, even people who are on Trump's side, like Garrett O'Boyle, right? Garrett O'Boyle previously testified before a House subcommittee led by Representative Jim Jordan, okay? Firmly on the side of Trump. He's like, this is a nothing murder. Calm down. Quote, "The hyperbole and emotion over this is ridiculous, especially considering legitimate reasons to question the Mar-a-Lago raid," which wasn't even a raid, by the way. Last year, former FBI Assistant Director in Charge Stephen D. Antuno testified before Congress saying, "This was not a show of force. We were all in agreement. We made sure we interacted with the Secret Service to make sure we could get into Mar-a-Lago with no issues. We're not banging down any doors. We weren't bringing any, like, FBI vehicles. Everything that was reported about helicopters and 100 people descending on, like, a Die Hard movie was completely untrue, right? That is not how we played it." Look, if anything, they handled Trump with kids' gloves, all right? And yet, Trump, this is how he reacts. I mean, you want to talk about entitlement, right? This is entitlement mentality. But the irony about all this is, I think, look, we all agree that assassinating a political rival is a no-go. We should all agree with that. I mean, if anything, that would make Americans rally around someone, okay? Or, you know, if there is God forbid, one succeeds, or there was even an attempt, that would get Americans to rally. Maybe that's Trump's intent, to get people on his side by spreading falsehoods. Now, the ironic part about all of this, by the way, is that Trump's own attorneys have actually made the argument in federal court that if Trump were to have killed his political rivals, then he would still have presidential immunity.
If the president decides that his rival is a corrupt person and he orders the military or orders someone to assassinate him, is that within his official acts that for which he can get immunity?
It would depend on the hypothetical, but we can see that could well be an official act.
That was Trump lawyer John Sauer answering a question from Justice Sonia Sotomayor. This was during oral arguments in the Trump immunity case being heard in the Supreme Court. Sauer made a similar assertion during Trump's immunity hearing before the D.C. Court of Appeals back in January, telling judges that a president could order SEAL Team 6 to go and kill their political rival and still have them be immune from prosecution unless they were to be impeached and convicted by Congress. Okay, and there it is. Look, is Trump laying the groundwork to do this himself? To, you know, order the FBI, if he becomes president, to go after his political rivals? I don't know. It's not a stretch, though. I mean, he's getting his lawyers to make this argument in court, while at the same time accusing the other side of trying to do that very same thing.